you have the highest chance of going viral on a how-to piece of content.
Yep.
If someone finds it valuable, they're going to save it or they're going to send it to a friend who needs it. And when people are getting constantly rewarded from your content, so hey, it worked or hey, it was valuable, they're going to keep coming back to your profile to get more of that stuff.
If you put yourself in your ideal client's shoes and they looked at your Instagram, looked at your website, they looked at your YouTube, what would they think? Would they think you are legit or would they think you're full of I want you to go and audit your Welcome to the Success School podcast. We're talking about taking you from $10,000 a month all the way up to $50,000 a month. This is going to be a two-parter today. Steph, are you excited?
I'm pumped. I love helping people make money. And I hope that if you're listening to this podcast, you're ready to get rich, baby.
So we are going to cover 5 parts in this episode today. And then next Monday's episode, we're going to cover the other 5. So you're going to have to sit tight and strap in for this one. We've got to switch gears a little bit and we've gone a little bit deeper on these episodes. So give us some feedback, guys. Do you like these longer form episodes where we go on more of a deep dive? Send us a DM on Instagram or comment on YouTube. That would be great.
People actually don't do that.
No, they don't
do
that.
We ask every episode and thousands of people are listening to these episodes and we don't get that many messages, guys. Like, we're the only people in our teams. I mean, maybe you get more than me, but like, I don't get
Would you DM yourself?
Well, no, but I mean, like, I'm in my DMs and like I am sitting there like waiting for these beautiful messages to come through, giving us feedback on the podcast. But
we just suck, man.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
All right, I'll kick off with my personal update. So I learned a concept the other day, or someone actually said this to me, and they were like, Tim, if you put yourself in your ideal client's shoes, what would they think? Like, imagine you are a 10K coach and they looked at your Instagram, they looked at your website, they looked at your YouTube, they looked at your podcast, they looked at your Twitter, they looked at your LinkedIn, they looked at your TikTok. What would they think? Would they think you are legit or would they think you're full of shit? And it kind of got me thinking. I was like, have our clients done this? Have they done a trust audit before? And if so, what would your ideal client or prospect think? The reason I wanted to tell you this today on this episode, guys, is I want you to go and audit your shit. So go have a look at all your social profiles. Imagine you are your ideal client and take a step back and think, would I trust this person? Why or why not? And what do you need to change? For me, what I changed is I was like, man, I talk about making money online, but I actually don't give any fucking proof. Are you just one of these scammy coaches who talks about making money and doesn't have any proof? So immediately I went and put all these testimonials on my highlights on my Instagram. If you guys want to go check them out, Real Tim Frey. And then I put testimonial videos. Then I actually gave a roadmap on how we help people get to 50K months on my Instagram. So I'll keep you guys posted on how that's going, but I want you guys to reflect on that. Steph, anything to add to that?
No, but like when you say trust audit, like you're saying for people to go reflect on their own.
Yeah.
Like, what are the key elements? Like, how would they know whether they were trustworthy? Like, I think that we know that we're trustworthy, right? Like deep down, like you and I.
Yeah, you go show it. It's different.
Yes, but like, how do you know? Like what parts were you auditing on your profile? Like, obviously there wasn't enough proof. Was there anything else that you were looking for? Like matching themes across your profiles? Like, tell me what you're looking for.
Yeah, like professionalism, all the colors, all the branding matches, all the words match. Do your bios match across the board? Is there congruency? Is your key message, like ours is, we'll scale you from 10 to 50K months, is that shown across all social media channels? And then you could just work with AI and say, how do I create more trust on my profiles? Like, what are the key elements to do that?
So good. That's super helpful.
Yeah. How about you?
My personal update is I was watching a YouTube the other day with you, and the guy on the YouTube earns $1 million a month.
Yeah.
And people were asking him about how he spends his time. Like, how does he spend his days? Like, how does he manage to get it all done? You know? And he said something that was really profound that really made me stop and think about the way that I spend my time. And that was, I only spend my time on my highest revenue generating activities. And every week he audits his time to make sure that that is still his highest revenue generating activity. So this particular person runs an ads agency and he takes 10% revenue from all of the clients' ads. So like if they make $100,000, he'll get 10% of that. And so for him, he actually goes in and he actively tweaks and edits and works on the ad accounts. And people are like, why would you do that? You're this 8-figure entrepreneur. Why would you go in and spend time on those ad accounts? And he was like, because they make me most of my money. Like if I look at how much money is coming into my ads, into my account every day, it's those ad accounts that are bringing in the most money. So of course I'm going to spend my time there. Like, why wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking about how I spend my time and probably how people listening to this podcast spend their time. And I don't think we're doing enough auditing of the way that we spend our time and putting that towards the things that make us the most money. And I just thought that was a really helpful frame of reference and something that I'm actively trying to do now.
Any like takeaways with how you're spending your time?
Yeah, so I think I probably got a little caught up in spending too much time on social media, looking for inspiration, creating content that was quite complex to create.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular person was like, dude, just do clips, like just put a heap of clips out, you know. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate things because, I don't know, maybe, and I've been so guilty of this, and I think I've said this on the podcast so many times before, that I almost make it hard because then I believe I'm worthy of any success that comes from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think sometimes the best thing that you can possibly do is just actually simplify the things that you do.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was spending less time on social media. I've actually deleted the Instagram app off my phone
No
now.
way.
I know, I have. I did it this morning.
Damn.
I know.
How's that feel?
Naked at this
okay.
point. Yeah. But I am going to push through with it because I think that we spend so much time accidentally consuming other people's content,
Yep.
consuming other people's point of views, consuming everybody else's thoughts and opinions and projections, that we forget actually what our own voice sounds like and the things that we want to bring to life in this world. And so consciously, very actively right now trying to create more than I consume. But yeah, I need to spend less time on social media and more time actually doing the things that move the needle in our company. And that is doing epic podcasts, creating great YouTubes, focusing on getting our clients exceptional results and streamlining that process.
Yep, cool.
That's where I'm spending my time.
I love that. I sound like that guy from Job You Love, the interview, when I say I love that.
Oh my God, you do. Can you
Yeah.
tell the story? 'Cause it's
Yeah,
funny.
so there's a clip going around of, I don't know her name, but it's some lady, and she's like, instead of you've got to love your job, you've got to job your love. And the co-host is like, I love that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? How do you love that? That doesn't even make any sense. What were some of the other ones? They were like,
then people were like, in the comments, they were like, fuck, I can't remember.
you got to like put a nail in your coffin, or you got to
get rich or die trying, or die, I don't know, no.
die rich trying.
Yeah, die rich trying. It was just, look, we'll have to find the thing to link it because it was so funny. You have seen it. It's hilarious. You'll laugh with us. If you haven't, please go check out the show notes. We're going to find it and put it in there.
All right, guys. Today's episode, we're talking about the roadmap taking from 10 to 50K months. We got 5 steps here. The first one is becoming the operator. So usually when you get from 0 to 10K months, you just need to essentially just be a really good coach. And then you get clients that way and referrals that way. But stepping it from 10 to 50K months requires a different mindset. So you have to become like a real business operator here. That's not just coaching clients and delivering good sessions. That's being a marketer, hiring team, outsourcing. You need to be setting up sales processes. You need to be setting up systems, SOPs, and all the good stuff that's related to that. And it's a huge change from just being a coach that's making 10K months to being an operator that gets you 50K months. And I think one of the big mindset shifts that a lot of people don't have and they need to take is they need to just adopt the mindset of like, what would someone making 50K a month be doing right now? What would they be thinking? What would their actions? What would their beliefs be? And how would they be framing their decisions on a day-to-day basis to hit 50K months? So Steph, in your opinion, what's the difference between working in your business and on your business? Because this is a key differentiator.
You kind of said it perfectly before. When we are first starting out, you get so deep in delivery. And I think that most coaches start out exactly the way that we would recommend, which is to go all in on delivery, over deliver, make sure that your clients are so happy, make sure that you do everything possible to get them to the result that you promised. But what happens is that mindset will 100% scale you to $10,000 a month, but it's going to limit you anywhere above that because you're going to have these really complex delivery models that need to be streamlined. Most coaches are getting stuck in drowning in delivery, and then lead gen becomes almost an afterthought. Sales becomes almost an afterthought. They're not actually getting the opportunity to grow their impact, to grow their bank account because they get so trapped in literally just delivery. And it's such dumb stuff. Like it's dumb stuff like they're not getting their Fathom note takers on their one-to-one sessions and using the AI to send the notes afterwards for homework. They're not creating automated check-in processes that an AI could do or that are automated and it's all manual and reactive. They're still doing 15-minute Loom responses to their clients when they're submitting check-ins. They're just massively overcomplicating stuff that can be so simple. And when you get caught up doing that stuff, it just stops you from being able to think about, how can I grow? How can I simplify this process? How can I reach more people? How can I get on more podcasts? How can I develop a more trustworthy brand? When you're so busy doing all the work, you just can't even think about those things. But Tim, I know that before, we've obviously both been guilty of getting caught up in busy work, right? In multiple businesses that we've had. You started massively prioritizing doing 90 minutes of deep work before doing client work.
Yep.
Talk us through that process and like how that's changed things for you and from scaling up your own coaching businesses.
Yeah. So I guess the difference between working in and on the business, in is like you're just doing client work, replying, just all the basic shit that you do day to day. But on the business is separate growth time. And this is designed to move the needle in your business. I think a lot of coaches get stuck in that whole like working in the business and not on the business. So I like to prioritize the stuff that's actually going to grow the business before the client work, because the client work's going to happen no matter what. You can be happy, sad, in a mood, whatever it is. The client work still happens, but you kind of need to be in the mood to grow the business. So I usually try to prioritize that first. How about you?
We actually had to change even our call times and things like that within our program because we were doing everything first up. Like everything was 8 a.m. in the morning. And I told myself that that's awesome because my brain's the freshest. So I want to jump on and, use my fresh brain and smash out all the client work first. But by the time I got to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was tired. I was not down to do marketing. I was not down to think hard. And so I can still coach at my best. Like this comes naturally to me, right? So we've started blocking everything out before 10 a.m. and just doing the work on the business. And we're getting so much more done. It's been so powerful.
So Steph, most coaches, part of being an operator is tracking your numbers. And most coaches really avoid that, especially at the 10K a month mark. Why do you think a lot of people avoid it or resist it? And what would you say to any of the coaches who are like around the 10K a month mark now in regard to tracking their numbers?
Even if you're not at 10K a month and you're at 30K a month and you're not tracking your numbers, this is a problem. And even if you're at 5K a month, this is a problem. I used to be this person though. I didn't track. And it was only because I had you in my world that you were like, show me the numbers, show me the numbers, show me the numbers, that I was like, I've got to get a VA onto this, because if I ever come to you with a problem and I don't have the numbers to back up the data of the problem, you're going to be like, well, what are we going to do about it? We can't do anything about it. And so tracking your numbers is the most important activity regardless of where you're at. I would probably say it's even more important if you're under $10,000 a month, because your time is so limited under $10,000 a month. You're doing everything. You can't really afford to outsource. Things take you a long time because you probably don't yet have the skills to do everything really quickly. And you'll be spinning your wheels a lot in that space. And so we need to be tracking the outputs that you're doing in that time and attributing those outputs to the amount of money, to the clients, to the results that you're having. If you are spending 6 to 10 hours a week on social media content and you're not getting any new clients from it, then that tells us that we need to change some stuff, right? We need to change social media content. We need to change the way that we're posting. We need to change the rhythm. We need to change the platform. Something needs to change. But if you're not tracking where you spend your time, if you're running ads and you're not tracking the leads, if you're not tracking how many new email addresses are on your list, if you're not tracking how many emails you sent out and the click-through rate and the open rate, what's the point in sending the emails? Like you're never going to know if it's working. And so I think a lot of people at under $10,000 a month up to probably $30,000 a month have this kind of more is more mentality. If I just put more content out, or I send more emails, or I just do more ads, or I just do, more direct DM outreach, then it's going to work for me. But you're actually massively limiting yourself, because if you don't know where your time is best spent, you're just going to spend your time chasing your tail for way too long. Which kind of leads me to thinking about distraction. When your mind is spread everywhere, what do you think is the number one distraction that kills productivity for coaches?
So I think the biggest distraction that kills productivity for coaches that want to scale from 10K months to 50K months is just scrolling Instagram. And you've got to imagine, like, what is someone ahead of you doing? If someone that's making 50, 100, 150, 200K a month, they're not scrolling Instagram, wondering what everyone else is doing, getting so caught up in other people's lives. Like, they don't give a fuck. They are interested in making money and serving their clients. And that's what they're doing. I think too many people out there just get so distracted with the Instagram bubble and just keeping up with the Joneses, worrying what everyone else is doing, when in reality is you just need to work out how you can create more value for other people, how you can make better content, and you can attract more people to your business. So Steph, we're going to move into, which is step 2, which is niche, promise, and having a premium offer. I would say these 3 things are arguably probably some of the most important things. And we teach these inside of our mastermind program at nauseam, and we really make sure our clients get them done. So we've got a bunch of questions around positioning, niche, pricing, and avatar mistakes. I want to talk about niche specifically. So Steph, why do you think it's so important to have one niche and not two? Because a ton of coaches out there, they have multiple niches and they wonder why their business doesn't grow.
I think like back in 2020, you could probably get away with having a pretty general business.
Yeah.
Like I think, 2020 was the kind of the coaching boom. It was really a great time to be in the coaching space. And so you could kind of be like, I help you with this generic thing, and people would literally just buy from you. But now we have so much competition, there's so much noise online that any kind of even slightly generic marketing is going to absolutely bomb online. You're not going to get any attention. You're not going to get noticed. It's going to slip completely through the cracks. And so what we see working now is not just picking a niche, but it's picking a niche, like a really, really deep niche, and like really deeply understanding them, almost saying the things that they're thinking in their head out loud in a way that makes them go, oh my God, I didn't even know I had that thought, but I totally had that thought. But where right now, people who are probably trapped at $5, $10, even $15,000 a month, what they'll be experiencing if they're wanting to scale is that they'll have a lot of demand. They'll have the people they know they want to work with. So let's say they want to work with kind of mid-range income earners, but they get a lot of demand from the newbies. And that's because the newbies are a very, very loud majority. There's a lot of them at the beginning phases, and they're very demanding and they're so keen. So they're going to be really deep in your DMs. They're going to be very active. They're going to be downloading your stuff. They're going to be on every webinar. And so you start to think, well, maybe if I just create something little and then I sell it to those people as well, I'm going to make more money.
Yeah.
But what you do is you just distract yourself, because now you've got multiple funnels, multiple email lists, multiple ideal clients. You don't know what to sell when, and it diffuses your potency of your marketing message, and it stops you from being able to deeply solve one problem. So it's super dangerous to avatars at once. And if you don't know which one, like a common thing for our clients will be like, I don't know which one to go with the one you have the most of on social media right now if you're quick money, or go with the one that you know that you're going to love working with and take time to bloody build it.
The only thing I'll say is if you've got multiple marketing messages or you're trying to speak to everyone, you'll speak to no one, and then your marketing will fall flat. There's a difference between warm and cold marketing. How you've built your business to $10,000 a month is mainly with referrals or people you know. So you can be pretty bang average at marketing and having a niche. As soon as you go out to colder audiences and you start running ads, you have to have a niche. And this is why a lot of people don't grow, is they just don't have a niche, or they just don't have a clear marketing message that they can stand by.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, with the offers, so like that's your niche. So pick an avatar, go all in on one, stop dancing around with 2, 3 or generic stuff. Talk to us about offers, because you and I are pretty firm and pretty big on like selling something that's just more expensive than selling, a $1,000 offer. But just talk me through why you think that selling a $5,000 or $10,000 an offer is easier to sell than something.
Yeah, typically, like if you have a bigger offer, the type of person that can afford that is more affluent, and usually they are easier to work with. There's the old meme that goes around. It's like $100 client. It's like, send me the T's and C's. What about this contract? I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with that. And then the $50,000 client's like, yeah, paid, no worries. So there is a difference between working the type of clientele. It's just like when you're at 10K months, you kind of need to ask yourself, like, what type of people do I want to work with? Like, who do I want to niche with? Do I want to niche with someone who's high affluence, or do I want to niche with someone that's low? If you work with like broke people all the time, you're probably going to have a really hard time in business. So creating an offer and creating a value stack to attract higher people is key. I know that's not super great advice in terms of like everyone go do that now, because there are a finite amount of people. But if you're a coach listening to this and you want to go after higher net worth individuals, I would suggest going after it with 2 feet and getting a coach that really can support you in that. There's more to that than just having an offer. It's like your messaging, it's how you present, it's how your website looks, it's how your social media is, it's the service you give. And all of these things need to be improved with time. No one can just go out there and start charging 5 or 10K now. But to get to 50K a month, charging $10,000 for an offer is a lot easier than charging $1,000 for an offer. Like, you think about it, it's like 10 times the marketing on that as well. Steph, we're going to go into like positioning and statements. And a lot of people don't have a clear one-liner or a message or an outcome that they get. So someone will go on someone's website, social media page, or in person, and they won't exactly know what they do. How important is it for you for someone to have like a clear and key message, and where should that be?
I feel like I might be a little biased on this
Yep.
because I'm a marketer.
Yeah.
And so if I fall on someone's social media profile and they have a really cool key message, I'm like, I love you. I think you're great. This is awesome,
Yeah.
you know? And so it really makes a difference for me to know who I'm going to follow, give somebody my time, attention, and income to give them my money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that message really matters. And if I don't see myself in that message, I'm probably not going to follow. I'm not going to invest, and I'm definitely probably not going to recommend. There have literally been people that have had such a clear message that's cut through that I've immediately sent their profile to friends when I found it because I'm like, how cool is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the power of one core message. And I think that everyone talks about messaging online, but nobody's talking about what it really is. And most people are overdoing messaging. They think they need a 17-page messaging Bible or document that has all these phrases and words. But if you just spent your time creating one core message that was everything your ideal client wanted, that they saw themselves in, that was simple to understand, that was articulate, that you put everywhere, your website, your social media, your VSLs, your podcast names, your book title, if everything was leading to the same thing, you would develop such a cult-based audience so fast and raving fans because everyone would know you for that one thing. And I think people massively overcomplicate it with these big, long words and lots of jargon and all this stuff. I think that having one clear promise is the most powerful thing that you can do for your business. And for example, ours is we help coaches and consultants build to $50,000 months. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a coach or you're a consultant and you're interested in building to $50,000 a month, we're going to be for you, probably. Go listen to our stuff, go watch our videos, and you'll start to notice, guys, that everything that we do is around helping clients get there, helping people get there. We talk about it on our social media. We talk about it in our content. We talk about it on our YouTube. And it becomes consistent. Therefore, it becomes trustworthy. And therefore, people start to remember you for it. And then that's how you get recommended and referred even faster.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anyone else that's nailed a marketing message? Like maybe like Adriano or somebody who's like totally nailed a message that you've been like, that's sick.
Yeah. Shout out to one of our former clients, Adriano Rizzo. He helps MILFs lose 10 kilos that are over 100 kilos. So very specific. So a woman that identifies herself as a MILF is probably someone I would like to work with as well, because that kind of says like a lot about them.
Yeah.
And then 100 kilos is such a like a line in the sand type number. So if you get on the scales and you know you're over 100 kilos and you've got 10 kilos to lose, it's great. On top of that, you know, usually people that are over 100 kilos losing 10 kilos is like they've got more to lose because that's a really good market. So I think he's really nailed it. I haven't seen too many other people like fully nail the message.
Yeah.
And that's probably why he's blown up so quickly and a lot of people struggle. He went from, I think, about 5K a month to 80K a month, like pretty quickly in 6 months, just from nailing the marketing message. And we say this to our own clients and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter that much. You know, oh, I don't really need to have a niche, or the marketing message doesn't matter. And then they don't grow.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's pretty blatantly clear from that.
It really does matter. So the third part of this is really about authority, because once you've nailed your niche, you've kind of got the mindset that you want to be the CEO, that you're going to step into this like energy of not working in the business and working on it more. You've got your offer, you've got your avatar, you've got your promise. Now you actually need to convince people that you're not full of shit, right? Which is kind of what you said at the beginning of this podcast. What is one of the things that you see on people's social media, maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's Instagram, that is a huge mistake when it comes to like building authority?
Yeah, so they need an audience identifier. So Adriana has MILF, so we have, you know, we help you build a 50K a month business. You have to have like a clear profile picture where you don't look like a psycho in it. Your name has to be clear. So like real Tim Frey, Steph Gordon, Adriana Rizzo, that kind of stuff. Like no numbers, nothing crazy like that. You have to have proof in there. So client proof, client testimonials, and then your pinned posts, they obviously need to be good as well. It's like what you do, who you help, and the results you've gotten from there. And then all of that needs to look good and be succinct. So branding on point, colors on point, all the results, everything needs to match. If you say that you're a fat loss coach for MILFs, then make sure you've got results of fat loss and MILFs. Don't have dudes on there.
Yes.
So this happens quite a bit in all industries. They're like people niche into something and then they just don't have results in the thing that they say they're niche in, which is just like a trust red flag from there. Did I miss anything with that?
No, I think you were so right. I had this conversation with a client recently and I was like, you're missing the big obvious. And we actually
Yeah.
did this cool activity at our retreat where we got our clients to review each other's bios and just like rip them apart, right? And I think that it's so helpful to do that, even though it's uncomfortable, because sometimes it's just so obvious what's missing. Like one of our clients is a marketing coach and she specializes in helping clients nail down their messaging. But when I went on her profile to review her profile for her and I scrolled down, I didn't see anything about marketing or messaging. It was all about imposter syndrome and what she was doing on the weekend and all this stuff. And I was like, people have to see the message. Like if you say that you're an expert in marketing, if we say that we're experts in helping coaches and consultants go to 50K months, that needs to be in there regularly, peppered. It doesn't have to be everything all the time, but it does need to be there a lot. So one of the things that you mentioned for people to do is to go and, check their own Instagram bios. My piece of advice to you would be to go there right now and go, does the thing that I say that I do at the top, have I got that multiple times in my first 9 posts?
Yeah.
Does it say the same thing on my website? Am I sharing stuff on my stories every day? Do I have proof that I can back that up, not just with my own results, but with the results of my clients? And I think if you don't, then you're going to bomb. And trust is such an interestingly delicate thing. It's so subconscious, isn't it? And
100%.
you just don't know. Like if one of those things doesn't add up, your audience are going to just in their bodies go, oh, I'm not sure about working with them. And they won't even know why.
Subconscious. Yeah, it's fully
so
subconscious. So moving into our next question, I followed another business coach, which I rarely do. And he started hammering me with ads. And I was like, this is great. And all of his content is basically showing proof. Like it's like proof that I get results. Here's a testimonial. Like I'm talking like 20 story slides every day on Instagram on his stories. And in his content, he's talking about, hey, my client X did this and this and this. And I was like, man, this is super impressive. But it got me thinking, is there like a balance that you need to hit with giving value and showing proof? Or like what would be the ratio for you? How would you weigh that up if you were to like give someone advice on that?
I mean, this guy's doing very well.
He's doing 500K months.
Yeah, like he's doing very well. I think that we've spoken about this in the podcast before, we're in a trust recession. Yeah. And I think that if you have a ton of proof that you're sitting on right now, then you should be sharing it often and regularly. Yeah. The same people do not watch your stories every single day. New people jump in there, right? The same people do not see your content every single day. I'm married to you and I don't even see all of your content every day. And so you do, I think, need to shout it from the rooftops more than probably ever before. But obviously, you also need to show authority in other ways. And I think there are a lot of ways that you can show authority, from teaching something, showing client testimonials, sharing your own proof. I think that there should definitely be a bit of a mix of authority content. Yep. But the question I have for you is, why do we see so many people, and especially around that 8 to 10, probably up to 20K a month, they're kind of scared to show their clients results. Yeah. Like there's like a resistance to it where they don't want to like maybe seem like they're bragging. They don't want to seem like they're using their clients. There's like this rhetoric. Have you come across that?
Yeah,
Do you know what that is?
My kind of take on it is if I were talking to you right now and you were someone that's scared to do that, or you were scared to show your proof, it's like, if you don't toot your own horn, no one is going to. We were on a presentation and we were presenting an ads workshop a couple of months ago. And in the pitch, I jumped in and I was like, I am the best person to learn ads from that there is. And someone in the comments was like, this guy's fucking full of himself. And I was like, no shit, but I believe it. And if I didn't believe it, it would be really hard for me to sell Facebook ads. Yeah. And you have to have that kind of like almost confidence and arrogance in your sales process. Otherwise, if you don't believe it, no one else is going to. People can feel the vibe.
He didn't say it negatively. I want to be really clear, because
it was a she.
Oh, was it she?
Yeah.
I don't think she said it negatively. She was like, this guy's confident.
Yeah.
And I actually saw that as a total positive.
Yeah, I
right?
didn't see it as
negative.
negative.
No, totally. I just don't want the people listening to this podcast to be like, oh, that's exactly what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm scared of, is that people are going to think that I'm full of myself. Yeah. But fuck them.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
They're brokies.
Yeah, 100%. Like you have to back yourself in. If you don't massively go out there and toot your own horn and believe in yourself and make the pitch and use your clients' results that, excuse me, you have got. Yeah. It's not luck. It is a system. There is a process. Back yourself in. Mm-hmm. Like share the stuff.
100%.
Let's talk about something else that I see that I think is a total missed opportunity for people trying to scale to 50K months. And that is CTAs on their pieces of content.
Yep.
I see almost 100% don't use CTAs.
Yeah.
Well,
I think a lot of people don't even know what to put on there. So yes. I think you kind of got two options for CTAs. You can do a comment below if you want to get this free download related to whatever it is. Then you can fire off a mini chat sequence. And if it's something like passive that you're talking about, like getting results or how to, or like you're giving away a process type thing. But if you're talking about results you've gotten or sharing a client story, you need to be a bit more active with the CTA. So like, hey, comment below if you want results like these, or DM me X word if you want results like these.
Yeah.
So they're all like kind of comment below and show your interest, but it just depends on the post that you're doing. And I think a lot of coaches really like don't understand this fully, and they should, because social media, especially at that 10K month, is a massive driver of your results. So if you're someone that's doing content, you need to be putting CTAs, especially on Instagram, and they are CTAs for someone to take the next step. So ask yourself, like, if someone, put yourself in the eyes of the consumer, if they're seeing this like before and after, or this like results or money that you've gotten someone or results you've had, what would be the next logical step for them is like, can I get results like that person? If so, what's the next step?
Yeah.
So start thinking about that with your content. And Steph, just a quick one to finish on here. So if you had to do proof, how to, paradigm shift content, and you just had to pick one, like gun to your head, like what would you pick and post about?
Gun to my head, I would probably go with how-to content. And the reason I would go with how-to content is because you have the highest chance of going viral on a how-to piece of content.
Yeah.
So you have the highest chance that if someone finds it valuable, they're going to save it, or they're going to send it to a friend who needs it. And that has the highest chance of getting you mass amounts of followers. And when people are getting constantly rewarded from your content, so if you give a how-to piece of content, they go away and they try it and they're rewarded from it, hey, it worked, or hey, it was valuable, they're going to keep coming back to your profile to get more of that stuff. And eventually, once they've consumed enough of that stuff, they're probably going to be interested in raising their hand and working with you at some level. That's a slow play, but it's probably the play that I would go for. What about you?
Yeah, I fully agree. So moving into the fourth step here, we're going to call this the lead engine. So what we define as a lead is basically name, email, number, or someone showing interest in what you do. It's all well and good to grow your following, post social media, have an offer, have all those types of things. But if we don't transition someone from follower or interested to actually putting their hand up and being a lead for you, you're never really going to make any money, because you need to sell them. So, a common strategy that a lot of people have is DMs, and DM selling. It's huge. So that would be put up some value, and then someone replies to your stories, and then you have a DM conversation with them. Steph, I know you've done a lot of DM selling. Do you think there is a difference between copy and paste DMing and like personal outreach? And in terms of like effectiveness, is someone copy and pasting a sequence of messages more effective than personally outreaching? We were chatting this morning and we were saying, for us, you and I, in the DM, to get someone on a call would probably take like 2 messages, but it would take an appointment set of like 15 to 20. Just because we know the nuances of what people are saying. Can you say more about that, and like what kind of strategy you would use?
I'm going to give a little bit more context on what the lead engine is, right? So guys, like you said it before, like once people kind of come into your world, let's say they become a follower, it's really hard, guys, to convert somebody unless they're seeing a lot of your stuff, okay? And it's really hard to get them to see a lot of your stuff unless you have their email address. Once you have their email address, everything gets easy. And I'll give you some examples here. For example, in the DMs, they may ghost you, or it may get busy, or you may lose the DM conversation in your own DM thread. But if you've got their email, now every time you send an email marketing campaign, which might be weekly or twice a week, they're going to see that email marketing campaign. So they're going to continue to see your content over and over again, and you're going to be part of their world. Now, if you want to layer that on even thicker, now that you've got their email address, we can consistently run more ads to them. So we can send them, ads to invite them to a workshop. We can send them ads to get them to download more of your stuff, so you have more consumption time. You can send them an email to send them to a YouTube video of yours. And email is a way more powerful platform to get somebody to convert than just hoping that they see your content on social media. And so the game for you, if you're trying to grow your social media, is that you want to take them from follower or in your DMs to getting their email address. Like that is the mecca of being able to start a conversion conversation effectively, or be able to actually move someone from lead to conversion. Now, to answer the question you actually asked me, which was, what's the difference between copy and paste DMs and personalized outreach? We have fired all of the DM setters we've ever had, because they're not terrible. They're not bad at it, but they just can't do it the way that we do it, right? Because we have so much subtext. We can read people's emotions. We've been NLP coaches, mindset coaches. We've worked in the industry for years. We can tell pretty much straight away from someone sliding into our DMs whether or not they're a good fit for our program. And if they are, then we deeply believe that they should just jump on a quick call and we should do the thing. But in saying that, when you're at $10,000 a month, I personally would still probably have copy-paste messages for a little while because you may not have that skill yet of being able to personally figure out how to get these people into conversation. And so by having a script that you're running, what we can do is we can test different parts of the script. So we can test different opening lines and see if we get more responses. We can test, okay, 90% of the messages stop messaging at this point. That means that message needs to change. And we can test different things. And so I would recommend, the same as I would recommend following a sales call script, I would recommend following a DM script initially so that we can figure out what works best for your audience. Would you agree?
100% agree.
Yeah. So if you're an online coach right now, you're probably and you're listening to this episode, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month maybe, but obviously you're interested in scaling to $50K a month. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be listening to this episode. What are the best funnels right now for coaches? Like to get leads, to go from follower or whatever to email address through a funnel, potentially getting them to buy on the other end. Like what's the best process?
Yeah. If you're wanting to scale to 50K months, 100K months, you 100% need ads. And I'm going to say that it's pretty hard to do without, especially for like online coaching. It's really hard to get that type of traction with organic unless you're an absolute weapon at organic. And then at the end of the day, it just stops working anyway, organic, because the algorithm changes every month. So the top 3 funnels, the first one is a call funnel. Second one is a DM funnel, and the third one is low ticket to high ticket funnel. And I'll explain all of them. So a call funnel is basically like, hey, I've got this promise. I'm going to get it for you. Let's book a call. They jump over to a landing page. They book in for a call. You run through a sales process and then you sell them yes, no. So super simple. That sounds simple to do, but the nuance of it is a little bit challenging because you've got software, you've got tech, you've got copywriting, you've got, are they going to show up to the call? You've got all these other things that can go wrong with that, which is fine, but that's where you need to work with someone that knows what they're doing with this because they can help you and guide you to it. But if you set up a call funnel, it's like printing, like it's super simple and easy to do. And if you're someone that's sitting there and you've got an empty calendar, an empty inbox, I would strongly suggest implementing one of these 3 funnels. The second funnel is a DM funnel. The DM funnel, what you want to do is you want to give something away. So like a lead magnet, that's actually good and someone would want to pay for it. And then they send you a DM and then you send them the thing and then you have a DM conversation like you were just speaking about. And the whole goal of the DM conversation, if you're a fucking weapon in the DMs, you could sell them your shit or you could get them on the call and then you could close them from there. Let me just say this is all about providing value. Okay. So you are providing value to people here. This is not just like a soulless sales thing where you're just getting leads and selling them shit. Like you've got to give them the result and get results for them. And the third one is low ticket to high ticket. This is the most challenging funnel and you need to have the most skills and you're going to be spending a lot of money on ads here to do this. So what that is you're selling something low ticket somewhere between $27 to $79. And then once they have purchased it, the whole theory is they get some value from it. Then you follow them up and you're like, hey, did you like that? Well, I've got more shit for you to buy to obviously help them overcome their problems. The issue with that is like we're getting into really deep territory here in terms of conversion rate optimization, landing pages, funnels, opening emails, all that type of stuff from there. And then you've got like a whole team that needs to follow them up from there. So, if I were going to rank the simplicity of you listening to this podcast right now and what I think you should do, DM ads, simplest, call funnel next, and then the third one is low ticket to high ticket. If you're thinking, fuck, that sounds like a lot of work, fear not. We can help you set that up inside our mastermind program, and we can get this pumping for you. And that is the key to unlimited scale in your business is like, if you can just switch on ads, get them cranking and get a positive return on your investment, you're going to have money forever and you're never going to have to worry about it.
All right, let's break this down because I can already hear 10K coaches in my mind right now. And they're going to be saying something along the lines of, but I don't need to do all that stuff because I just sign people really effortlessly in the DMs because I'm just really good at what I do. Talk to us about what happens up to 10K, like how people are finding you, why it's so easy to get layups at the beginning versus what happens when you have to actually start reaching further and further outside of your network.
Yeah. So the first couple of years in business is like this honeymoon period. You go out there on the internet and you're like, hey, I got this business. Who wants to work with me? And you got friends that are like, yeah, me. It's all epic until one day you've drained your friends. and you've drained your referrals and they've referred you to every motherfucker they know. And then you run out of people and you're like, oh shit, I've got no one to sell to. And then you need to go colder and colder. And when you go colder, it gets a lot harder. And at the start, everyone just thinks, oh, this is great. People are just going to refer me to Ever, but that stops. And I experienced that with my gym. It was epic at the start. Everyone was like, yeah, Tim's a good dude. He's kind of fit. I'll go train at his gym. It's epic. And then I drained the audiences and then I had to go cold. And that's where things get really challenging. And yes, you can keep getting new people and getting referrals and referrals and referrals, but it's slow as shit. And scaling from 10 to 50 is going to require a concerted effort. And let's be real. I'm talking to you right now. Are you happy earning 10K a month every single month? Because if you live in a Western country, that's basically like being broke these days because cost of living is fucking crazy. So if you want to stack real money and have a fucking crazy life and have holidays and have all the good shit that you deserve and you can have, you need to step it up.
Where does financial freedom unlock for a coach? Like, where does it feel like this is good? Like, I can afford stuff and, you know, now I can get a VA and now I can outsource some stuff on my social media or whatever it is. Like, what is that tipping point where they start like, this is a good amount of money. I feel really comfortable and confident.
I think after you make 20K a month profit, life gets really good and then it doesn't really change from there. Like we've gone on and we've made 300K months and honestly life doesn't feel any different from 100K months to 300K months. I think like once you unlock that 20K profit, which is probably about 50K months, like total, because you're going to be spending 30 on other shit. Everyone thinks like, we get this all the time. Our clients are like, yeah, I hit 100K a month, but you know, they have 10K to show for it at the end of the month. It's like,
yeah. And there are just different layers of scaling that like, at 100K a month, typically the outs are quite high because you have to build out the infrastructure to be able to scale, you know, above $100,000 months. And the same thing kind of happens at $10,000 a month. You basically have nothing left over. So you thought that number was going to be the number that got you rich, but then you're broke. And then at around 20K a month, it kind of also still feels a bit like that because you've had to put a little bit of infrastructure with some team, some systems, some automations, and like you got a lot more going out than you thought. And then I think at around $30,000 a month, that's when it starts to feel a little bit breathy, like, oh, okay, we have some spare cash. I'm not freaking out about tax bills. This is really good. 50K a month is money. That's where you can sleep every night. You don't look at menu prices. Like, it's the creme de la creme. You can afford the good car. You can get a multi-million-dollar mortgage. You can, like, those things are really easy to do once you're at that $50,000 a month level, which is why we love helping coaches get there.
Yeah. I'll just say one thing here, like, with success that you guys are going to get, and it's going to come for you, it becomes more lonely the further you get into it and you become more unrelatable to those around you. Let me give you an example. We hit 321K months. At the time recording this, that was our best ever month. And do you know how many people I told about that, Steph?
Oh, yeah, I remember this, but you go.
I told one person.
Yes.
And even then, I felt fucking weird telling someone that we made $300,000 a month plus because it's so fucking unrelatable for a lot of people.
Who are you going to tell?
Yeah, like, it just, like, you can't even tell anyone.
You can't tell people because it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't even tell our parents because it
they
felt...
think you're a drug dealer.
Yeah, like, it felt... It's uncomfortable. Like, what are you going to reach out to someone and be like, we made heaps of money? It's weird.
And then they start asking for money.
Yes, that's an interesting thing.
That's weird.
It's a bizarre thing. And that's why it's so important to be surrounded by people who get it, right? Like, we told one person. Now we probably tell, like, 20 people because we have a bigger network of people who would be like, sick, dude, that's epic. Like, nice work, you know, like, congrats.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know, it was just really just us and our bank account and in our house, and we were kind of just high-fiving. That's
just patting our dogs.
Yeah.
So, Steph, I want to wrap the lead stuff in a bun. You've got a couple of options here. In terms of your current situation right now, if you had to choose between putting an offer on your stories, outbound DMs, collaborations, or Facebook ads, which would you choose to grow your business and why?
Like, obviously Facebook ads.
Yeah, but why? You're not like an ads connoisseur like me.
Obviously Facebook ads. Because story offers are only, I'm going to break it down why for each of them, right? So you've said some story offers, outbound DMs, and ads. Story offers are great, but the only people who see them are the people who see them, right?
Yeah.
So I have 35,000 people in my audience. On average, I get 1,000 to 2,000 views a day on my stories. So that's a very small percentage of people who are actually watching my stories. Most of them are already paying clients. Some of them are my mates. So the chances are of me actually being able to sell to those people repeatedly are really low, right? And unless I get a heap of new followers, which I wouldn't get from running story ads anyway, into my funnel, I'm not going to be able to grow that at all. DM outreach is an outbound DMs. People do it. And we have some clients who do it very successfully. I have no judgment on DM outbound. And what I mean by outbound DM for anyone who's listening is that's where you find people who are like the audience that you want to reach out to and you DM them effectively pitching. I'm sure every single person has cold outreach in their DMs right now. I don't have any judgment about it. I think power to you if you're hustling that way. It's just not for me. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of tracking, but it does work. Like it definitely works. Otherwise, like we have clients who are making $20,000 a month doing it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's very manual. Ads, difficult at first. Yes, setting up a DM funnel or a call funnel is hard. Yes, it's tricky. Yes, if you don't know ads, you're going to have to upskill and learn, and that's going to be confronting and uncomfortable. But once you get it working, it will print you money while you sleep. You will wake up with inboxes full of booked calls. You will wake up and there will be leads in your inbox. You will wake up and people will have signed up to your offers while you sleep. And I only have one regret in business, and that is not doing ads earlier and also not spending more on ads earlier.
Yeah.
And I think that wherever you are in the world of business, you will regret not going as hard as you can right now on any of the things, because it seems hard now in comparison to what Instagram was like back in 2020, but it's going to be a hell of a lot easier now than it is in 3 years' time. And so there's never a perfect moment to start. Like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and the next best time is today. So if you are sitting on ads right now and you're like, oh, I'm not good at it, it's too techy, I don't want to spend the money and waste it, all these nonsense stories, that is literally going to be your limiting factor on your growth. And I think you're totally missing out on the fucking coolest life at $50,000 a month because you didn't want to learn this one simple thing.
Steph, I've been debating saying this on the podcast. It's usually kind of reserved for our clients, our paying clients in Success School. Should I tell them about the Andromeda update on Meta just so they know what is actually going on with ads at the moment and why it's like not working?
Absolutely. I think that this would be very helpful.
So you might be thinking, like, even you might have tried ads, you've thrown money at Zucks and he's not giving you the results that you want because they keep changing the algorithms and the AI, and they call it the Andromeda update. And what it's doing, it's actually scanning the creative. So the words you speak on your talking head videos, all the things in the creative, and it's showing it to the people who they think are interested in what you're selling. The issue is that a lot of people think ads now are all about targeting or finding the right niche or whatever it is, but a lot of the targeting is automatic. What really matters is what you're saying in the talking head videos and what is in your creatives, and that dictates who sees your ads. So the hack here is you need to be making a shitload of creatives, okay? And I'm not trying to scare you guys here. I can walk you through this process if you need any help on this, but 10 to 20 different types of creatives in terms of your talking head scripts being uniquely different. That what happens then is Meta's AI is going to scan the script or scan what you're saying, and it's going to show it to people who it thinks is relevant for. So you have to have your messaging dialed in. You have to have who it's for, your ideal client, all that type of stuff has to be locked in on ads. And once you master that, it is an absolute game changer.
So just so I'm clear, for everybody who maybe ads 101 at home.
Yep.
You need to have creative, means video or text post. So the video or the carousel or whatever it is that you're using. You have the best chance of getting your ad shown to the most people because it's scanning the text in the video or in the carousel post. And the more different types of text you have across different pain points or different angles or different objections, the more chance it has to reach more people because more people are going to be interested in the ad. Is that correct?
Yes, you nailed it.
So
all right, Steph, we're moving into the final section of today's podcast, and we're talking about building a sales machine. So I guess the whole point of having a sales machine in your business is you can close warm prospects at least 80%. And you can do that on DM, you can do that on sales calls, you can do that with an offer doc. we can show you how to do all of that. But we're going to jump into some questions around it. Usually in terms of like a sales machine or setting up a sales process, you need pre-qualification, you need a call structure, you need scripts, you need objection handling, and you need to know how to follow up. These are all important parts of having a sales machine. Steph, we do talk about pre-qualification quite a lot in Success School. Why do you think it's important to pre-qualify, and what type of things can we pre-qualify people for so they don't waste our time?
So when we talked about at the very beginning of this podcast, we talked about CEO activity versus operator activity, right? And if you are wanting to scale up from $10K a month to $50,000 a month, something has to change. One of the very common things that I see coaches doing at $10,000 a month that keeps them trapped is they're getting on calls with literally everybody. And if you're at $10,000 a month already, or even slightly above that, you've got proof that your thing works. You've got some level of demand. You've got people who are interested. They're kind of raising their hand. They're, your marketing's probably doing a little bit of good, right? But getting on sales calls with everybody is literally draining your time and resources. If somebody is not a right fit for your program, don't be desperate. Don't be, oh my God, maybe I could just try and convince them anyway. It's a red flag. We know it's a red flag. Don't get on the call. And so one of the fastest ways that we help our clients to streamline getting to $50,000 a month is that they only get on calls with people who are yeses. And then we optimize with all that time that they have spare now from not getting on these calls, we get them to spend on marketing to actually attract more of these right people to come into their call funnels. And so the best thing that you can do is to pre-qualify your leads before they get on calls. And the best way to do that is to ask just 3 to 5 pre-qualifying questions when they go to book the call. So you can do this on a Calendly page. If you're using like Calendly, you can have 3 to 5 questions. And those questions are going to be things like, are you actually willing to spend money on this right now? Because there's no point getting on a call with somebody who is, and there's nothing wrong with this, but we've had people who are like literally on Centrelink payments. Like obviously they're not going to be able to afford our program. And it's crappy for everybody involved to have that conversation because now they feel like shit because they can't afford it. I feel like crap because I can't give it to them for the price that they need. It's just like not a win-win situation. So can they afford it? Are they actually willing to go all in? You may have, every single person's going to have a different level of pre-qualification, but you definitely want to make sure you're pre-qualifying for not just whether they have the time and the interest, whether they have the budget, but also like, are they the kind of person you want to work with? There's some things that you massively want to pre-qualify for.
Sure.
Once you've nailed the pre-qualification though, and you're on a call with a legend, now this really matters because you're going to want to convert this person. What are the most common mistakes you see people make on sales calls? Because we review a lot of sales calls.
So I went the entire 2024 without missing a single sales call. And I don't say that to gloat. And I'm going to give you all my secret sauce here. Like you can follow a script and a sales deck and whatever. The most important thing to do on a sales call is if they tell you your goal, you have to be 100% certain that you can achieve their goal with them and you have to tell them how. Let me give you more information on that. So if someone jumps on a successful call and they're like, hey, I want to get to 50K a month. Here's my problems. You need to give them a detailed step-by-step plan on how you are going to get them to 50K months. So they have to see the process. So what happens in the first 90 days? Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to fix your lead flow issue. We're going to fix your sales problem. We're going to fix your team issue. Here's how we do it. And then we need to frame up the ROI of what they're going to get as an absolute no-brainer to what they are going to spend on it. So I think so many people go wrong because they do not show them how they are going to get the result and they are not certain in the result. If you're getting on a sales call being all fucking floppy, like, hey, yeah, sure, like, yeah, we could maybe work together and, like we're going to get it. No, dude, they're not going to fucking close because you're not confident. Like you have to show up on the sales call confident like a motherfucker that you are going to get that person a result. That's how you close sales. Okay. Anything I missed?
Yeah. On that, like, that's not just how you close sales. This is an underrated hack for getting your clients results. Because when you get on a sales call with them and you deeply believe that you can get someone a result, you're going to naturally transfer belief to them. So now they're going to be like, oh, maybe they really can help me. And then when you double down on belief, so you don't just believe that you can help them, but you start letting them know that you believe that they can do it. And then you start layering that in with proof of other people who are just like them who have done it. You now transfer mass belief. So now they believe in you, but they also believe in themselves to be able to do it. And if you can get them to believe in themselves enough to take action, to join your program, and they can come in with this amount of incredible belief in themselves, in you, in the process, they get results so much faster. Then they become raving fans. Then they refer their friends. And it's an underrated hack. So if you're going into your sales calls and you're flip-flopping around, it's going to be super unhelpful because you're going to set them up for a bad time in your program. You're going to set them up for doubt, and you're literally going to sabotage their results.
Yeah. So let's talk about follow-up, Steph. There's a famous saying, and I'm going to quote myself here because I made this up. In the follow-up process, you want to follow up like a thirsty ex. What does that actually mean? Like, what does follow-up look like? Like, how would you structure it? How would you tell someone to follow up?
I've never actually had a thirsty ex, but I have been a thirsty ex.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You.
So you know that, yeah.
I do know what this is like. I think that a huge mistake coaches make is that they avoid follow-up. And they think that by following up, they're being pushy, that following up, they're going to damage the relationship. But if you don't follow up with your clients, so like let's say that you've had a sales call and you've sent them an email and they haven't got back to you, and now you're agonizing on when you should contact them next, the next day and the day after that and the week after that and the week after that and the week after that and the month after that until they come back to you, it's either going to be a, oh my God, yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for following me up because I really wanted to work with you, but life got busy, which is usually what it is. Or it's going to be a, hey, no, I've gone a different direction, and then you can stop following them up. But their no response doesn't mean it's a no. That means that they probably got busy, or they got scared, or they needed time to think about it, or something else happened in their life, or they got a different offer. And it doesn't mean anything about you as a pushy, scammy salesperson. We have had salespeople who have followed up very thoroughly with people in our programs for 6 months before they joined. And when they joined, they were like, I'm so grateful that they continue to follow me up and that I'm now here, because if they hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be able to get the results that I've had. And so, yeah, you need to be following up. Like, it's not a no until it's a no. And there are so many loving ways that you could follow up that don't feel pushy and scammy.
Guys, if you're listening to this right now, write down a list or get your list off your CRM of anyone who you've had a sales conversation with in the last 12 months, follow them up like a thirsty ex, and then pay me 10% of what you guys just made from that advice. All right, guys, that was part one of how to scale from 10 to 50K months. If you got some value from this, please hit that subscribe button or let us know. If you want help implementing all of this stuff, go to our website, makemoreprofit.com. We have a mastermind section. We give you all the systems. We give you all the processes. We give you all the SOPs. We coach you through this literally 4 days a week. You have Steph and I as your coach. We would love to be open to work with you.
We would love to work with you. Next week, we have part 2 of this episode. I'm super excited to keep going with you.